Hello everyone and welcome. This is Christine with Patter Crafts, and today I am going to be making a very simple card using this bunny. This is Carrots, the bunny from the Not Too Shabby shop. This is a digital stamp set. The set does come with two bunny images, and the sentiments I'm choosing to print off just one bunny today and the sentiments. So we're going to go ahead and start off by coloring in our bunny. The pattern paper I'm using is Bunnyville. This is a Doodlebug design paper pad. It's from 2016. I don't have a ton of it left, but I am trying to finish it up, and I thought carrots would go great with this bunny paper. So I'll probably print him out a couple more times and just finish up this paper pad and maybe send out some Easter cards this year. So when I was determining what color I wanted his shirt to be, I took a look at the colors on the paper pad. There's a lot of pastel colors, which is appropriate because it's an Easter pad. But when I looked at what I had for like yellows and blues and greens, the pink just seemed to be the one that caught my eye. I thought I'd be able to have that stand out against the pattern paper. Like I said, this pattern paper pad is pretty well used, so I don't have a lot of choices to go with. And I did choose my paper prior to coloring so that I knew what colors I wanted to use for the bunny. So do write the colors down on that grid paper. I know I'm covering it up, but I will zoom in when I'm done coloring and just leave the Copic marker numbers up for a minute so that you could write those down if you were at all interested in the colors that I used. So once I'm done coloring his shirt, I'm just going to bring in some gray markers for my bunny. I want him to kind of be off-white color, and I love using the warm gray markers for things like this. So I'm using the W7. This is my darkest W marker that I'll be using on this image today, and I'm just kind of following the sketch lines from this stamp. So it's kind of like a sketch. There's not a lot of solid lines, which is really fun. Helps add a little bit of texture, especially when you're using like your darker Copic marker to color over that. At least that's my opinion. So once I lay down that, just going in with a little bit of W5 and pulling that out a little tiny bit. Then I'm bringing in a W2 marker. I have a W4, but I don't have a W3. I think if I would have had the 3, it would have been a little bit of a better contrast off paper. Between W4 and W5, I just decided to skip it and go straight to the 2, and I did, and at the end of the day, it comes out really cute. I use a W0 marker to just kind of help blend things out, and then I'll just kind of go back and forth a couple of times with the colors and just making sure that it looks, blended. Lastly, I just come in with the W7 again. I'm going to darken up a couple of those areas, and then I decide to add some little bit of dots here and there. I've got some on his feet, on each side of his body, on his ear. We're going to put a couple on his face, and I just thought it added a little bit of texture and just something a little interesting about our little bunny. And then just try to blend out a little bit more with that W2 and W0, and then just adding a few little dots to his tail to kind of make it look furry. Lastly, adding this pink to the inside of his ears. It was a little bright, so I'm going to bring a W2 in. Could have been a W0, I'm not 100% sure, but just to kind of dull that out a little bit. Now, when I wrote my markers down, clearly you can see I put the 0, not the appropriate numbers. So here they are. These are the Copic markers that I used in coloring today's bunny. So jumping ahead to making the card, I just trimmed a panel down from a piece of paper that I had. This is trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. This is just the main panel and pretty much the only pattern paper I will be using for this card. I did print out and cut out the Somebody Loves You. It's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. I should have shrunk it down just a little bit because I'm afraid my bunny's going to cover up the sentiment. So I'm trying to figure out how to put him on here so that I'm not covering up a ton of the sentiment And I didn't want his little ear hanging off the card either, so I moved the sentiment so it's all the way to the right. And then we're going to go ahead and pop the bunny up on some foam adhesive and angle him so that he's not covering up that sentiment. So next here I did bring in some Nuvo glitter drops. Not necessary. You really can't tell what they are, and if I could take them off of the card I probably would, but they're already there, so that's the way this card's going to go out. Adding some of the Stardust Stickles in random spots throughout that pattern paper and adding it over the sentiment. It really adds a lot of sparkle and shine. Going to also just bring in a little bit of the Glossy Accents to put over the carrot. And lastly, I'm bringing in the Spectrum Noir glitter brush to add some sparkle to his shirt. So thank you so very much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye.